The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance with me." He replied to him, "Friend, who appointed me as your judge and arbitrator?" Then he said to the crowd, "Take care to guard against all greed, for though one may be rich in one's life's possessions, does not consist of possessions." Then he told them a parable. There was a rich man whose land produced a bountiful harvest. He asked himself, "What shall I do? For I do not have space to store my harvest." And he said, "This is what I shall do. I shall tear down my barns and build larger ones. There I shall store all my grain and other goods. And I will say to myself, 'Now as for you, you have so many good things stored up for many years. Rest, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, to whom will they belong? Thus will it be for all who store up treasure for themselves, but are not rich in what matters to God.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
So as I was preparing myself for this weekend, reading the readings, one of the books that I often read in preparation asked this question. Have you ever seen a hearse, a funeral car or a hearse, pulling a U-Haul behind it? No, you can't take it with you. And basically, that's what Jesus is telling us. No, you can't take it with you. So, where is your treasure? I was thinking just about my life. 10 minutes ago, the Tiger game started. And Tarek Skubal's pitching. And I'm here at St. Blaise. And happily so. Where is my treasure? And then, I know it's preseason, and preseason football doesn't count, but the Lions, come on. And if I were to add up all of the time that I spend on those things, on being a spectator of sports that I love, maybe I would have to admit that might not be the number one treasure, but certainly important in my life. And where is your heart? Where are your treasures? Anybody wanna? Anybody? Come on, yes. Your family, and I knew that answer was gonna come out. And that's great. Do you spend a lot of time with your family? And that's important. If you're going to say that your family is your treasure or is a treasure, you need to be spending time with them. If your marriage is something that you consider your treasure, you need to be spending time and putting effort into that marriage, and not just when you get married, but even as your married life continues. Anybody else want to give me a suggestion what's important for them in their life? Here. Church. Well, you people are church people, so that doesn't count. Because that just ends my sermon right there. Yeah, Jesus is saying your faith. And so if your faith is important to you, it's not the 1 hour that you spend at Mass on a weekend. It must be much, much more than that. that you work at it, that you pray, that you talk to God, that you listen to God. On the way over here, I don't even know why, 696 is closed, and so it takes me almost an hour to get here now. But I had, on my car, I had Sirius XM, and I had the Catholic channel on. And for some reason, they were replaying the day that Pope Leo was chosen. And I listened to the whole thing. It was like a half an hour broadcast again. And once again, I got very emotional. And as I told you, I went to school with him, so I know. I don't know him that well, but we were in school for 4 years. And I thought to myself, this is important. Not that he's a pope, but that what the Pope represents for us. And do we spend the time reading online, because I'm sure we're online with many things, and social media and whatever. Do we take the time to read maybe what the Pope had to say about this or about that, or what the Archbishop had to say about this or about that? That's another way that we deepen our faith. It's another way that our faith becomes our treasure. You know, I was thinking, certainly if I were to continue asking you, for some of you, for instance, your home is very important, and you want to have a nice house, and there's nothing wrong with that. You want to provide well for your family with a good place to live, comfortable, warm, safe. But if you need to continue getting new houses and continually renovating your houses so that it's not just nice and warm and comfortable, but a little bit too much, then maybe that's where your treasure lies, and it shouldn't. And so Jesus is asking us, where is your heart? Where is your treasure? Jesus tells the parable of a man who had an inheritance, and he said, go to my brother, please, and tell him to give me my inheritance. I can't tell you how many times inheritance has divided families. People that were close that aren't. And in many cases, we're not even talking about millions of dollars here. Brothers against sisters, children against parents, because that's much more important than the family is. So Jesus warns us, don't let those things take over your life. As we read in Ecclesiastes in the first reading, it's all vain. It's all worthless anyways. We can't take it with us in a U-Haul behind the hearse.